Welcome to the Buying the Right Vacation Home webinar brought to you by HomeAway.com. Today's presentation will cover tips for selecting a vacation home that makes sense for your family and for renters. Although the right vacation home is different for everyone, we're going to cover some basics about how to make that decision. First, we'll discuss the different things to research before making your decision, including the location, type of destination, amenities, the view, number of bedrooms, rental history, and property value growth. After reviewing the different steps to take in your research, we'll also look at what to avoid when buying a vacation home. And lastly, which property type is right for you in terms of condos versus single-family homes. There are many things to research before you purchase a vacation home, but the obvious starting point is the location. You can't really do any of your other research until you decide where you want to buy. Some people that are new to the vacation home market might consider buying a second home near their primary residence with the intention of renting it out. That way you're nearby and can more easily deal with maintenance. However, if this is the case, it's not really a vacation home. If you choose to buy somewhere farther away, though, you have to be prepared to hire competent housekeepers and maintenance people. If you already own a second home and you're interested in another, you might consider buying in the same market as your current vacation home since you're already familiar with the area. However, this does not allow for diversification or a variety in your own family's vacations. So some owners choose to have a beach house and a ski lodge or a cabin in a cooler climate so they can stagger their busy seasons, enjoy different kinds of vacations, and also manage risk in case of any natural disasters. But this also means a little bit more research to really learn each area. Once you settle on an area for your second or third or fourth home, you have to learn why renters come to that area. If there are certain major attractions, you don't want to purchase a home that is far away or inconvenient. Price is obviously a big factor in selecting a home, so you need to choose a location that you can afford. Research the prices of other homes in the area to make sure the location is right for your budget. Lastly, but definitely not least importantly, you should consider your family's own use. If you hate the beach, you probably don't want to buy a beach house. If you buy a house you love in a location you love, chances are there are other families out there that will love it too, and you get to enjoy it when you're not renting it out. The type of destination really goes hand in hand with the location. You have to choose whether you want something remote or something in a more popular destination. A home in a more remote destination will probably cost less, but you will likely not have as many renters. A home in a more popular destination will cost more, but in the end you could get more rental income. Also consider the types of renters you'll attract for each destination. Renters visiting remote destinations are probably more interested in nature, whereas renters in popular destinations are there for certain attractions. Keep in mind the right amenities for each group of renters. So what are the different amenities that home buyers need to consider? If your home is in an area where most rental properties include a hot tub, for example, then that's something you need to factor in. This is common in the Northeast and in other cool mountain areas like Gatlinburg, Tennessee. You also have to look at what renters are looking for or what they're able to get. For example, in markets like Orlando, a majority of vacation properties come equipped with game rooms to attract families. This might not be a priority for your family, but once travelers see it as a commonality in the market, they might not settle on a house without one. This is something to consider so that you can stay competitive in the market. Clearly, you have to consider your climate as well. You're not going to include skis in a beach house, and you probably won't build a swimming pool in the backyard of your Colorado cabin. And lastly, remember your price range. If a pool or hot tub is simply not in your budget, you may just have to lower your rates to attract a different group of renters. For many vacation home buyers, the view is an amenity in itself and an important piece of the puzzle. The key is to consider how it will affect your renters. A home with a view will cost more, but you can also charge higher rental rates. A home with no view will cost less, but you won't be able to charge as much as a home with a view. Therefore, consider the types of renters your home and location will attract. Will they be more price conscious, or are they looking for a more upscale experience? The number of bedrooms is also an important consideration. You should consider the needs of your own family, but you also want to think about the types of renters that will be visiting your home. An area like Las Vegas, for example, probably won't be attracting families with children, so a smaller home or condo would be appropriate. However, an area like Orlando is going to attract families with kids or even families traveling together. A larger home with extra bedrooms is important for this market. You also want to consider the size of other homes in your area. If the market is saturated with 3-bedroom homes, you might consider a smaller or larger size to give you a competitive advantage over other homes in your area. While you want to cater to the majority of renters coming to your area, there is a lot to say for providing a niche that isn't already available in your location. When purchasing a vacation home, many owners go into it with the intention of renting it out. If that's the case, you want to know the rental history of your area. If you find a real estate agent that specializes in second homes, he or she should have a good idea of the rental market in your area. Ask specific questions about the peak seasons, the off-season, whether the area commands nightly or weekly rentals, typical prices, number of weeks booked, etc. If the home that you're considering purchasing was used as a rental, you might even talk to the current owners or property manager about their rental experience. If not, you can always talk to other owners or property managers in the area to research other rentals in the neighborhood. Lastly, take a look at the location on HomeAway, VRBO, or vacationrentals.com to see the size of the properties, what rates the owners are charging, and how full their calendars are. This should help gauge your rental potential if you're looking at similar homes. Property value growth is also an important consideration because most vacation homeowners are in it for the long term. You'll make money with rental income, but it would also be nice to know whether you're in an area where homes are appreciating. Your real estate professional can obviously shed some light on the current market conditions and how property values have increased or decreased in recent years. You'll also want to do some research on your own by studying values of other homes in the area. Most counties will allow you to review property tax records and parcel data online. This would enable you to examine how the taxes have increased or decreased over the years, and also the changes in the value of the home or homes in the area. And you'll also want to research the Homeowners Association to check for hidden fees or special assessments that could factor into the price of your home. We've discussed what to research before selecting your vacation home, so now we're going to look at what we should avoid. While you might be drawn to the potential of a fixer-upper, remember that this is not your primary residence. If you don't live near your vacation property, you won't be able to just stain the front door one night after work or easily repair the deck one weekend. Maintaining your property from afar is challenging enough without the extra work of a fixer-upper. Unfortunately, many vacation home destinations are in what are considered high-risk locations. Near the water can mean risk of hurricane, and on the mountains can mean risk of blizzards and snowstorms. These high-risk areas translate to higher insurance costs, so evaluate those prices before settling on an area. If you intend to rent out your vacation property, one of the first things to check would be restrictions on short-term rentals. There are some markets that won't allow short-term rentals at all, and some require certain permits. Your real estate professional should be able to help, and you can also contact the planning department of your local government office to find any zoning restrictions. If you plan to rent by owner, you'll also want to avoid properties that have exclusive management company rights. This requires you to forfeit some of the control of your rentals and also some hefty commissions. Properties on government-protected land are also tricky when it comes to rentals. Kauai, for example, has some strict requirements for homes on agricultural land. This is something else you'll want to discuss with your real estate agent or the local government before purchasing. When you've selected the area for purchase, you'll want to decide the type of property that's best for you and your family. A condo will obviously provide for easier maintenance from afar and also shared maintenance costs with the other owners in the complex. You'll also be able to advertise the extra amenities in the complex. For example, you might not be able to afford a home with a pool, but if you buy a condo, your guests will have access to the pool in the complex. Condos are also usually built in the best locations because the developers have enough money to invest in that land. At the same time, though, there can be limits within the homeowners associations when it comes to rentals. And you'll also lack some privacy because you're sharing walls with your neighbors. A single-family home, on the other hand, will provide for much more privacy, and in general, it can also be less expensive per square foot. However, you have to maintain the exterior and the grounds yourself. You might also have some association limits in this case as well. And lastly, determining the rental demand is more difficult because it's harder to compare apples to apples. In a condo, you can talk to a neighbor with the same floor plan, but homes typically have too many variables to really compare. We've laid some important groundwork for purchasing the right vacation home. Here are the key takeaways. Research what renters are looking for from a vacation home and from your destination, including proximity to local attractions, amenities, and the number of bedrooms sought out. Investigate rental history and property value growth. Determine whether you want a condo with easier maintenance or a single-family home with more privacy. Avoid high-maintenance properties and fixer-uppers. And make sure short-term rentals are not restricted in the area where you would like to buy and rent. Thanks for listening to today's webinar brought to you by HomeAway.com. For more webinars, please visit ownercommunity.com or click the link on your screen.